CBS presents this program in color.
Hi, I'm Tony Maietta, and I am here with one of the busiest actors in Hollywood today, Mr. Barry Livingston. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Talk about some of your memories of being on the Desilu lot, but also you have the distinction of being one of the three sons of Theodore J. Mooney, the first one.
Oh, really?
In fact, you were Arnold Mooney.
Hi, Arnold. Come on, I want you to meet my mother. Mom, Arnold is a new boy in our class.
Well, hi, Arnold. Jerry will be right with you as soon as I cut his hair. Come on.
Arnold, would you like to take my place?
Well, now you would be something of a challenge at that.
Did you have any concept of, who Lucille Ball was, or what it was like to be on the set of the Lucy show?
Yeah, I mean, I was a huge fan of I Love Lucy, but I was under contract and working on My Three Sons, which is when I did the Lucy show. I was under contract playing Ernie Thompson, not Ernie Douglas. I was the friend next door, Chip's friend. I was flabbergasted that we were working on the same lot that Lucy, Even before I did the Lucy show, she had a golf cart, and I knew where her offices were, and I was always riding my bike and things around, between scenes working on Sons. And she always had a bandana, around her neck and a cigarette, and she'd be like on this golf cart, and she always kind of had her eye on me, and I'm sure she maybe knew me as an actor. And it would always be like, "Hi, Barry." And she gets like whipping by. I was like, "Oh, she knew my name."
I heard she was quite a driver. She was hell on wheels.
Oh God, you get out of her way. I mean, it was. I realized it was like an ambulance. You pulled over on your bike. You'd see her coming. You just don't want to get hit.
Would you like to have me cut your hair, Arnold?
Do you give lollipops?
Well, do you wiggle?
No.
I give lollipops.
In one of the season 2 episodes, Lucy gets locked in the vault, where she gives you a interesting haircut.
I do recall the haircut one, very vividly because, I don't think I'm giving anything away. I didn't have a head of hair quite that fabulous, and of course I don't at all anymore. But we had to put a wig on, and mainly because they were afraid we might not get it on the first take. It might take 2 or 3, so they had to have multiple wigs that she could do the shave and give me the mohawk. And I remember her standing really in front of me so that when she stepped aside and you saw this huge mohawk, it was very effective. The audience went crazy.
So hanging out on the Desilu lot with Jimmy Garrett and Ralph Hart, what did a 10-year-old do? What did you do? I mean, because you weren't working all the time. I mean, there was school, but there had to be some recreation.
I can't tell you what we did. It's top secret. We actually, we'd band together. Occasionally you were both, you weren't working. So, you're bored silly half the time. 9/10 of the day is just sitting around waiting to go do a scene. The one cool thing on Desilu is our dressing rooms were in this funky old warehouse where they kept the original miniature skyline of New York City from King Kong, which that was incredible. That was the holy grail of movies as a kid, was the original King Kong. So we could go in there and play around like Empire State Building this tall. So we had our Stingray bikes. We'd rip around a lot, and we had skateboards, and we would sneak over. There was a fence that separated Paramount Studios from Desilu. When Paramount bought Desilu, they just took down the fence, and it's all Paramount now. But there was a little hole that we found in the chain link fence, or maybe some grip or somebody said the commissary is better over there and drilled a hole in it. It was like the Berlin Wall, and you get into this fabulous back lot that Paramount had. Bonanza actually, I think, used their Western Street. They had a huge water tank that they'd fill occasionally, and float a boat in it or a pirate ship or whatever. As a kid, that was a real playground.
Absolutely, a total playground.
Yeah.
Right. You've been working since how old were you when you first started
Well, the first
working?
thing I did was a film called Rally Round the Flag Boys, and I was 5 years old. And in fact, my brother Stan, who played Chip on My Three Sons, was also hired we were playing the kids of Paul Newman and Joanne Woodward in this film.
Very ostentatious beginning.
It was it was an very large beginning, and I got
Yes.
fired from that.
Oh.
Because my eyes, I wasn't wearing glasses at the time, and literally on the set while we were working, my eyes started to cross, and everyone got very concerned and worried, and literally they took me from the set to a hospital and said, no, you know, it's maybe the stress, he's got astigmatism, and he needs glasses now. So the producers said, well, you know, we hired him, but we didn't see Paul Newman's kid, you know, being this goofy, nerdy wasn't even a term then, but they said they didn't want him wearing glasses. He shouldn't be wearing glasses, so we're going to have to let him go.
Well, you really made those glasses work for you, though, didn't you? I mean, they were part of your persona later on in My Three Sons.
It became sort of my signature thing in that era, that the prototype kid, child actor of that, was more like my brother Stan, who was blonde-haired, blue-eyed, you know, perfect little kid, and I had like a Chinese bowl cut, you know, his big glasses, buck teeth. I was a prototype nerd.
Do you remember how you came to get the role on My? You know, your brother was on My Three Sons.
Yeah, I was working on another show, a series called The Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet, and Stan was actually on that show prior to My Three Sons. When he got hired on My Three Sons, the Nelson family decided to just put me into his slot as the boy next door, the kid that Ozzie would take to the malt shop. So I was working, you know, and then I was on the set a lot with my brother on My Three Sons. So they were, you know, they knew that I was around, and I had just done a couple big films at Paramount.
My Three Sons shot right next to the Lucy show.
Yes.
And weren't your sets right next to each other? Sound stages right next
you
to each
know,
other?
there was a common little cave you'd walk into, and you'd go to the right to Lucy, to the left to that door you'd go onto stage 11 where we shot My Three Sons.
Do you have memories of working with William Frawley?
William Frawley.
Who played Bub.
Right. Yeah, you know, I didn't work with him as much as I did with Bill Demarest, who was sort of cut from the same cloth, but Bill Frawley was a little rougher around the edges. He was a little, loved to drink. You know, learned every four-letter word from Bill Frawley, and he used them, you know, quite eloquently. We would go to lunch with Bill, and the production managers would be, you know, fearful he would never return to come back to do the afternoon shoot. So they knew the only ones who could get him back to the soundstage were my brother and I. We go, Uncle Bill, come on, we gotta go. We gotta get, you know, 1 o'clock. We go back to work. Oh, all right, you know. So we would drag him back to work every day. But he, you know, he was this funny guy, you know. He was a sweet guy. Bill Frawley would remember little things, like he'd see my brother Stan was very into the surfing craze, and on his birthday he'd bring him a surfboard. You know, I mean, real thoughtful little things that you would think would escape a guy like that, but it didn't.
Well, now I got to ask you, Barry, about Bill Frawley and Vivian Vance.
Yeah, well,
you know, the rumors out there for years. What, from your viewpoint, what was their relationship really like? I mean, they had stopped working together, but they were still working next to each other.
Oh, no, they were side by side. There was still bad feelings.
Each other.
No, in fact, when we would come back from lunch, the plan would always be we would go for a couple weeks accumulating these big old tin round film cans. And it was one of Bill's great joys to go, okay, you know, today's the day, guys, go get the cans. You know, we'd go, and of course the soundstage doors were right next to each other. And we'd come back, and Bill would open up the door, and we'd wait, and we'd stand there, and Stan and I would be holding these cans, and we'd listen and listen, because you could hear the voices from their rehearsal on their stage. And as soon as he'd hear Vivian doing kind of thing, goes, okay, throw them, and he'd take them, go, boom, like this, throw these cans in, and when these things would hit, it would be like a bomb going off. It would be like bang, boom, bang, boom. Yeah, and then you go, okay, come on, let's get the hell out of here, you know. And then we like run back onto our sound stage. And, you know, so.
Did she ever catch on? Did she ever realize that Bill Frawley?
I don't think so.
You did a lot of dramatic work when you were Desilu too.
Yeah.
I mean, you were quite versatile. You were doing comedy and
I still am
drama.
quite versatile.
Well, that's true, and you're still working. So we are so appreciative of you taking time out of your schedule to come and sit and talk with us and reminisce a little bit about your memories of working with the one and only Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball.
And Vivian Vance. So thanks very much for being here.
My pleasure. Thank you.